What's up? Good morning. Good morning. How we doing, guys? Good to see everybody. We are about 22 seconds out here from the rollover of the next bar. We're basically in a big sideways range so far. If you look at the chart, we're on bar 7 here, and that's about to roll over into 8. Now, 1, 2, 3, what we've been talking about basically all week, that first initial move tends to fail. Now, that's not something to take a trade on because you have to time it so perfectly for it to work that it's highly risky, especially for someone without, $200 million in a brokerage account who can take on a whole bunch of heat. Trading prop, these drawdowns are tight, man. So don't try to time the top like shorting bar 1, bar 2, bar 3. Wait for a setup. It's the way to go. But that first move does, it tends to fail, whether it's upside or downside, especially when we're looking at more of a range market, which is certainly what we've been seeing, at least this week, a whole lot of. So we've got bar 7 closing as a big old inside bar, watching bar 8. Now, when I look at this chart here this morning, I see this. I see a big range. Now, luckily for us, it's about 170 points wide. It's wide. It's wide, so there's plenty we can do in here. I just got to get it set up, slap it on, and keep it pushing. So, 345 out, ATR coming up. Artificially low, of course, in the first 10 bars of the day because it averages 10 bars. So for the first 10 bars, it'll average in some pre-market bars. But that is creeping up. ATR is the average true range. That says 67.16, that red tag bottom right of the chart on your screen. That tells us the volatility. What's going on with that right now? 67, for context, is a moderate to high number. Okay, it is not a high number, it's a moderate to high number. So we like 67. So that's the look. How you guys doing? How we doing, man? Ro, Cheryl, Stu, News, AB, Bill, how are we? Clap, Manuel, Big Dog, DK, my man. My man, how are we? Now, as this starts to reject a bit here on 8, it makes you start wondering if we're going to start seeing this kind of thing develop. So early to say that, okay? But just tossing it out there. I'm still looking at this as a big sideways range, about 170 points wide. But we'll see if bar 8 ends up failing hard here, which it currently is doing. That is very interesting. Low a day is the wick low of bar number 1, of course. All right, bar 8 taking out the wick low of bar 6. Heading toward the low of day. Go on, Bears. 40 seconds out till bar 8 closes up. About 30 points out here from the low. ATR 73. Fishman Mike Javaz, how are we? All right, here's the rollover. 8 rolling over into 9. Now, bar 8's actually going to get bought back up into the close and close inside the bodies of 6 and 7. So 8 is astonishingly a inside close, which after that big bearish move down through the wick low of 6 is rather interesting. I mean, to me, that says that's range activity. The bears get a little bit insecure as we come down to test the low of day, the wick low of 1. They kind of step out, meaning the bull pressure is able to bring that guy back up, close it inside the body of bar 7 and 6 for that matter. All right, we're taking bets in the chat. Okay, we're taking bets in the chat. Do we take out, say high or low? Do we take out the high of day or the low of day first? The low of day is the wick low of bar 1. The high of day is the wick high of bar 3. I want to know what you guys are thinking here. Obviously, we're a little bit biased in the lower third of the full day's trading range, so I imagine that's going to play in here to the responses, but let's see. Gonna have a jailbreak lower. John says low. DK says low. Clat low. Manuel low. Bob says high. Big dog Bob. Stu says low. If we take out that high a day first, the entire stream here owes Big Bob an apology. Okay, we're about halfway through bar 9 here. Kind of a bunch of nothing going on except for volatility range here on bar 9. You wouldn't believe it, but is coming up to 70 points in range. You wouldn't think that's 70 points. It is 70 points. So, you know, if you're trading personal, make sure you're sized appropriately, as I'm sure you're aware. If you're trading prop, make sure you're sized appropriately, as I'm sure you're aware. Question, you only trade NQ? We tend to trade NQ here on stream. You take NQ away from me, it won't make a difference. I'll just go trade ES, I'll trade gold, I'll trade YM. NQ is the wild younger sibling to ES. All the OGs traded ES because no one, you know, that was what you traded. Today, especially in the online trading space, that instrument is now kind of NQ. Like, it's obviously a mix. A lot of guys trade a lot of people trade ES. You can trade both. The one thing that I will say is NQ, while a lot of people find it to be a little bit too wild, I like that because it creates emotional situations in the price action that I capitalize on, like stop hunting. Stop hunting is tremendous on NQ. It can also, by the way, a lot of people don't think of this, be more efficient with commissions and fees because it is oftentimes more volatile. Does that make sense? So when you pay a commission and fee, it ends up being a slightly lower percentage of the trade, which, you know, if you're good, won't make it's not going to be the difference between being a losing trader and being a profitable trader, but I'll certainly take efficiency when it comes to commissions and fees. But that's not the reason why I primarily trade NQ. I trade NQ because it is wild. I love it, and a whole bunch of you guys love it. If it disappeared tomorrow, we don't care. We'll just trade ES, gold, YM, whatever. Whatever. And still kill it. All right, big bar 9, rolling over here in 10 seconds. Looking to challenge that low of bar 8, maybe the low of day yet again. Here's the rollover. All right, so low of day is right in the mid 650s. Bears are having trouble even getting us beneath the wick low of bar 8. We're currently on bar 10, 335 out till bar 10 closes. ATR now hanging out at about 70. Now that we're on bar 10, that artificially low statement for the ATR, this red number down here by my cursor, it says 70.26. Again, since it looks back and averages the last 10 bars together, once you're at bar 10 and 11, it's no longer artificially low from using pre-market bars in the average, get it? So we're kind of hanging out now about 70. That's now sort of a true read of volatility per 5-minute bar, or I should say range per 5-minute bar. So, you know, there's multiple looks. Remember, we drew this. This is how I would look at this, at least for now, but we're starting to get to a point where it's like, big wedge? Yeah, possibly. Possibly. If we end up taking out the low a day before we meaningfully break that wedge look, well, what I should say is if we end up testing that low a day before we meaningfully break that wedge look, then I think we're clearly looking at a wedge. Wedges, as they get tighter and tighter, get a little bit tougher to trade just because there's not so much room. It gets a little bit tough to manage risk. Pops through can, you know, introduce expected but somewhat unpredictable volatility. So we got 38 seconds out here till bar 10 closes up. Okay, 10 is going to close as basically the first doji bar of the day. So these bears are terrified to try to take out that low. Okay, so by the way, Central Time here. Trump will be speaking at 1:30 this afternoon. We've got Intel earnings here this afternoon after the close. That's kind of it. I mean, we've got a White House press briefing here at 10, 39 minutes from now. Obviously, this morning we got U.S. initial jobless. Came in at 187, by the way, versus a forecast of 210, previous of 208. So we're effectively free to trade here. So the bull's trying to pop this guy. Again, we got a couple of looks. You got a wedge. You got a sideways big range on the whole day. And if we do take out the low of day, then we may have actually a soft bear channel. The wedge, of course, is using this flat bottom of the range along with this. So we'll keep an eye on that. Volatility is relatively high. So in the meantime, I'm thinking any range scalp I can put together and make sense of, I'm into it. I am into it, so let's see. By the way, guys, we got a new deal over at Apex. 59 bucks! All in, no activation fee when you pass on the 100K intraday accounts, baby. Code BIG, B-I-G. And if you're like, Nico, I don't like the 100K intraday accounts. Whatever, dude. It's 90% off single day pass everywhere else anyway. Same code, code BIG. So I think we're out of excuses as to why you don't have 20 funded Apex accounts yet. Just like these bears are out of excuses why they haven't taken out low of day yet. We've got a bunch of babies at the wheel here, these bears. So, you know, I'm looking at the wick highs of 8, the wick high of 11. With the wick high of 11 taking out the wick high of 9 and the wick high of 7, really just the wick high of 9. Honestly, I think I'd prefer if I were going to short in the upper third of this wedge. By the way, if you're just joining us, obviously we have that look. We also have this big look, big range. I gotta tell you, I'd be very surprised if the bears don't take out the wick low of 1. It's just a matter of timing. But if the bulls were to pop us up into this region, I'd prefer really to use the wick high of 8 to manage risk, though points-wise, that might be a little far. But that's what I'm looking at, looking to range scalp here. If I can get a reasonable entry with a reasonable risk management approach. We've got bar 12, 3 minutes out here till the close, ATR 71. All right, bull's trying to fade us higher. Having some trouble. Now this is what leads me to think, you know, this wedge. We may see this wedge just stay put until we snap up that wick low of 1, take out the low of day. How many accounts you guys think just got blown between bar 9 and 12 here? How many? Big news says use code BIG. My man. Fucking right. Best deal always. Biggie, what's with these hammer candles? Yeah, I know, man. I mean, like, these are 5-minute bars. 20 minutes worth of sideways action, and I'll tell you what's going on. It's a big wedge. You know, and big wedges tend to break here. Because I know some of you guys are like, well, where's the wedge? I'll redraw it for you. These wedges, they tend to break the flat about 55% of the time. They tend to break the angled about 45% of the time. So it's relatively close to 50-50. But you can, you know, the more established it becomes, you can treat it like a range. All right, I got my eye on that wick high of 11. As far as width here, holy shit, this is a 100-point wide wedge. A little bit tighter if you extend it downside here, but that's all right. Sure, I'll get short and use the wick high of 11 to manage my risk. ATR 67. Baby, half an ATR, scalp, get flat. It's too easy. It's too easy, my man. 250 out. We'll see what 13 brings here for the close. ATR 68 now. All right, Bears taking out that wick low of bar 8, just barely. We got the wick low of bar 1, which is low a day. About 25, 30 points away. Yeah, Bears testing this hard. It would surprise me if they don't take out this low a day here. All right, there it is. Bears taking out the low a day. New low a day here on bar 13. Nothing I can do, you know, with 60 seconds out on a big outsized bar like that. Now, 13 is outsized, not necessarily in comparison to the ATR, the average range of the last 10 bars, but in comparison to bar 9, 10, 11, 12, it is certainly outsized, especially the first bar to take out the low a day like that. You know, think about it, right? I don't know if a lot of, well, I think you Tomb guys get it, but I think a lot of people here might not understand why this is a really tough place to do anything. Okay, it's a range, the context is range, okay? No matter how you look at it. You've got range, remember we had that wedge. It's all range under the big range umbrella. The only other umbrella is trend, and you know, that's obviously not what we're seeing. So it's a form of a range. When you take out the low a day, that range umbrella would say that the bulls have a reasonable probability of making that breakout attempt fail. So getting short at the new low of day just immediately is not the highest probability trade. Will it work sometimes? Sure, it'll work sometimes. Everything will work sometimes. It's not the point. But buying the break of low of day on a big outsized bar with no price action beneath it to manage risk? That's not a great option either. So in a situation like bar 13, you know, you're trying to break out of the range, you're taking out a low, there's just not a lot to do. The logical thing to do would be if the breakout attempt fails and you know that bar that breaks the low a day closes inside the previous low a day, like 13 did, closing inside the wick low of 1. The logical thing to do, if anything, I suppose would be to get long. The problem is, how the hell are you going to manage risk? So, it's no longer that logical. Nico, is anyone else experiencing TradeAvate issues today? It keeps freezing on me and rebooting. Anyone else seeing this? I've had no issues. I had no issues last night with TradeAvate. I had no issues this morning with TradeAvate. Nothing. But I'll let you know if I do. All right, so we got 13 failing, now 14 trying to pull back into that previous range. We're now a little too far back into the range and far away from the wick low of 13 for me to get long, of course, using the wick low of 13 to manage risk. So obviously holding off there. Watching bar 14, halfway through bar 14, 2.5 minutes out. See that? You see that? A lot of traders would short 13, right? They would call it the orb, the opening range breakout. You short 13, right? It's a range, man. You can't ignore context. It is tier 1 inside of RAM. Tier 1. If you ignore context, everything else means fucking nothing. The context is range, and here you go. The bulls aggressively taking it back into the range, saying, "Ha! Bears thought you were gonna do something, huh? Not a chance, big dog." But again, buying 13 as it breaks the low a day, while the logical thing to do, according to the context, that's not all that matters. You also have to be able to manage your risk. And when there's no price action beneath you, it ends up being arbitrary. Because, I prefer not to use overnight low volume price action to manage risk during New York session. It's just... Nico, can you trade the range? Of course you can trade the range. I just did. I just did trade the range. I got short, what? I think it was on 13. I got short right up here. But if you blinked, you might have missed that one, man. It was a quick little scalp. Edge says price action was awesome in Asia session. Felt like a normal New York session. What time? I took a couple of trades. I think I took 2 trades in Asia last night. They were both great trades, by the way. But I don't know if I'd say it felt like New York. It felt a little slower for sure than New York. Maybe it started to speed up after I headed out. I think I was trading between was like 6:55 Eastern. I probably took that first one around that time. And then I wrapped it up maybe an hour later, 45 minutes later, and headed out. Two hours in? Yeah, that was right when I left. So we have got basically a big old single bar sideways range from 13 to 14 to 15 here, bar numbers. Hey, if you haven't yet, man, hit like on the stream here on YouTube. I appreciate you doing it. Big dog. Takes 2 seconds, costs nothing, and gives me dopamine when I'm not in a trade, because you know I need it. You know I need it. You know I can't stand not being in a trade. Just kidding. All right, so this here, guys, this is one of the most difficult places to find edge in the market when it's flat, single bar, sideways range. When I say single bar, this is what I mean. Each bar covers basically the entire range. And I get it. You know, you look at this and you say, looks easy. Buy low, sell high, buy back lower. Sure, I'm not saying what you're saying is not logical. What I am saying is how are you going to manage your risk? Because, you know, look at this, taking out the wick high. Look at this, taking out the wick high. You're not going to use these wick highs. If you do, your win rate's not going to be very high. And the reward to risk in this situation can't really make up for it that well. So it's sloppy. You know, we could very well take out the wick low of 13. That's the low of day currently, and there you go. There's the... You had used the wick low of 13, you're getting stopped out right now. So you end up having to use an arbitrary stop, which, again, you know, I'm not a huge fan of. So we're minute 15 out. See how 15 plays out here. Light, what's up, brother? Welcome back, big dog. Where the fuck you been? Nice. Now you're in trouble. 5 minutes in the corner. Man, what a tremendous bar. Bar 15. It's crazy. Range here on this bar, mid-hundreds. 150-ish points on the range. Got a new low a day, by the way. All right, rolling over 15. Into 16, ATR 79. Can you believe it? It's a damn good ATR. We like that, don't we? So what I can do here is I can actually get long and use the wick low of 15 now. Now that we got the rollover and an attempt back upside, because now I have an area to manage my risk, right? Whereas previously I didn't. If the bears roll over and take out the wick low of 15, then this has fundamentally potentially changed. And I'm fine with that because the risk on this is not, really not all that tremendous. I mean, what are we looking at for risk? Less than a third of an ATR? Little scalps. Little scalps. Do it to them, bulls. Now, my risk on this trade is what, 26 points? I'm going to go for a half an ATR, which makes it 40 points, which is quite a bit better than 1-to-1 reward to risk, isn't it? Now, on a scalp, that is a pretty major reward to risk. So let's see what the bulls got here. They can fade this guy and eat up more of that body at bar 15. Come on, bulls, let's go. They ain't got it yet. They want that wick low of 15. ATR sitting at 82, which means my target's currently sitting at 41 points. Which is a great little reward to risk here. Oh, you bears, let's see if they clip it. You want it, bears? You're gonna have to take out that low a day. Wick low of 15. Haven't been able to do it yet. And by the way, you might wonder, well, why are you going for... Oh, they'll get me. All right, cut it, move on. You might wonder on that trade, why are you going for, like, damn near a 2-to-1 reward to risk? Well, because the volatility is really high, and I know the probability on that, while not terrible, could certainly be better. And in a single bar sideways range like that, where I finally have an opportunity to actually manage my risk in a real way, you know, I have the option, because volatility is so good. So I can do that. Makes more sense when volatility... I mean, look, the ATR was actually down a hair. 80. 76 is still huge on the ATR. But now I'm watching 17. And see here. These bears are getting a little cockier. Alright, let's see. Well, I just may get a short setup here. We'll see how 17 closes up. Right. About 215 out here. Now, I'm watching to see, can 17 give me a nice clean bear close? It's a pretty tall order. All right, minute 40 here. Bears swallowing up that downside wick. Not looking too bad. Not looking too bad. Here we go, 30 seconds out. Bar 17, range here, less than a full ATR. One ATR is 81. Range here on this bar, we're looking at about 69, 70 points. At least as of right now. Stop limit sell goes out. Copy trader engaged. Place him, roll over, take it, Bears. What's up, Bears? You want it? Ooh, they don't want it. Not yet. Not yet. And they got damn close. I am going to give that the full 30 seconds here. 10 more seconds. No fill, no trade. Got to pull it. Damn, Bears! All right, watching 18. So I'm getting closer and closer to the mentality of any reason to get short. Of course, the risk here is that this breakout ends up just turning into a sideways range. But I'm getting closer and closer to that mentality. I wouldn't say I'm 100% there yet, but... What I will do is actually short that and use the wick high of 17. There. Now, if we do take out that wick high of 17, especially if we take out that wick high of 16, then in any reason to get short mentality is snapped up before it even really gets all that much started. But put me in the game, man. I want to play. ATR maintaining 77. Come on, Bears. What you got, man? What you got? I love these higher volatility days. Gotta love it. All right, there's the rollover. 18 into 19. You know it's volatile when that rollover changes your in the money amount by like 8 points. All right, Bears, keep that guy moving. Keep that moving. Ooh. Ooh, it's getting so close. Man, within like a tick. Ridiculous. Come on now, Bears. There you go. One more little push. Are you kidding me? Oh man, within a tick. Within a tick. On an ATR of 73. Can you believe it? There you go. One more big push will do it. These Bears, they keep hesitating. 38, 39 points in the money. Here we go. This is it. There it is. Full R, get flat, copy you're getting flat, and I am flat. All right, good trades, good trades. Bar 19, watching 19. What's up with you guys? How we doing? Okay, so since I'm a little bit concerned about this range mentality, which is why, you know, shorting 18 for me makes sense with any reason to get short. With almost in any reason to get short mentality. Again, I'm not even quite there yet. But bar 19 closing up, I want to watch 20 because I'm a little bit concerned after you get 17 and then 18 as a small bull body, and then 19 when we're not really in. I know it looks like it, but you got to consider 17 was the first bar to be an outside close outside of the range. This is newer than it looks. So I'm watching 20. See what we get here on 20. Hey man, if you haven't yet, hit like here on YouTube, dude. I appreciate you doing it. It does help out a whole bunch. And it takes, what, about half a second? Bar 20 looking tremendous, by the way. Very, very nice. Okay. Bar 20. Looking nice. Halfway through, 2.5 minutes. Don't want to see that wick on the bottom here get bought back up by these bulls. Because I'm looking for a nice clean setup to the short side for trade number 4 on the day. We got 40 seconds out on bar 20. We got to get bar 20 heading downside. There we go. There we go. 25 seconds. All right. Stop limit sell goes out. Place it. Roll over bears. Grab it. And they will. They want it. They want it. Stop gets placed. Move that guy downside. And I am sitting short. Let's see what these bears got. Faded bears. Continue downside. Let's go. All right, dump it, let's go. All right, so 1 ATR is 68, 1 R is 51. Now, environmental context-wise, meaning what we've been seeing in the market as of late, we have not been seeing a whole bunch of, face-ripping trends. Which leads me to look more, 1R, maybe a bit better. Full ATR is not the wrong answer, of course. Let's see how this develops. But my minimum here really is like 50 points. So Bears, what you got? Coming down through 28.5. We don't care about 28.5, Bears. 28.5 ain't shit. We got downside to fulfill. Well, these bulls really think they're something, paying attention to 28.5. I hate to break it to you bulls, but I think you're heading home in tears today. Because I got a minimum target about 50 points that I need to see here. All right, here we go. We got the rollover of 21 into 22, watching the open of 22 to see if the Bears take out that wick low of 21 in the first, 30-ish seconds of this bar. If they do, I may have to multitask here. Nope, they won't do it, so I gotta leave everything as is. Everything stays as is. Bull's trying to get cute and bounce this thing. These bulls really think we're just gonna bounce right off 28.5, huh? Goofy. Goofy, keep buying. And then those bull stops will just be liquidity to push me to target. Can't wait. Oh, you bulls. Okay. Let's see what you got, man. So far here, average is what, 22? Yeah, so far I've been about 39 points in the money. Not enough, not target. It's a battle at break even. It's a battle. 50 seconds out here until 22 closes up. All right, there we go. We got a rollover. Bulls certainly getting cocky here around 28.5. I'll tell you what. So again, so far, 39 points. Jeez, Bulls. 39 points in the money here at best. That's, again, my minimum target here is more like 50. Bulls getting a little bit too much confidence here. Well, back to break even on the trade. Guess you bulls can't take out the wick high of bar 20, can you? At least not yet, man. Oh, shit. Oh, baby. 61 points. Disgusting. That's what we should have had the first time we went in the money, 39 points. Gotta use hotkeys. If you don't use hotkeys, you're tripping. Man, RAM is such a disgusting methodology. In my early years of trading, I never would have even taken that trade, let alone had the fucking set to hold it. That was crazy. We must have just gotten a headline, huh? What a crazy trade. Took me within 11 points to target, 39 in the money. Then took me within, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 points a stop. Then gave me more than target. Crazy, baby. Something else. Edge just passed another eval on that trade. My man, did you use code BIG? B-I-G. If not, you know the drill. 5 minutes in the corner. Big dog, I'm happy you passed it. You don't get out of detention though, my man. News just passed 5 evals. Big dog, let's go. Good work. Tremendous, tremendous, tremendous. Canada was in the bathroom, heard you, and ran back. Edge says, of course I used code BIG, the party pack. The fuck else? Yeah, we only buy the party pack around here at Apex, the 5-pack. If you still buy your eval accounts one at a time, you're tripping. Wasting your life. Man, that was nuts, huh? Now I imagine we enter a little sideways range after that. That's crazy. Bull trying to buy that back up. Here you got bar 23 rolling over into 24. Now bar 24, especially 24 and 25 is going to tell us, are we going to enter a sideways range or are we going to continue this bear trend, man? I mean, we got to call it what it is at this point. But there is risk of range because environmental context-wise, what we've been seeing the last few days, weeks in the market, it's been a lot of range action, you know, and sometimes it's a little bit of friction to get out of that. Question! Danny, Nico, how can I learn RAM better? Appreciate your live, but I need more help, man. Hey, join the tomb. Join the tomb, dude. Yeah, the live, you'll learn a lot here, which is the point. There's a lot of resources on the channel. Obviously, it's all fucking free. But there's also a lot of nuance to RAM that allows me to do what I do. It's all in the tomb. We meet every week. All right, bar 24. $325 out. Let's see what we get. Danny, there you go, big dog. It's in the chat. Okay, halfway through bar 24. If 24 can close beneath the wick low at 23, I'm intrigued, but I'm still a little, I gotta tell you, a little concerned of a sideways range. It's just, I've seen this too many times, and I know environmental context-wise, we just haven't been seeing crazy trends lately. It just hasn't been as friction-free as we would like it. You know, it's been a little while since I've checked in with all you guys. How many of you... Now, by the way, fucking stand up, be proud of this shit, because you did something almost no one is going to do. Just in life in general, which is, well, I suppose provide for yourself in an entrepreneurial way, but especially trading, dude. In the chat, how many of you are doing this trading full-time or as a hefty part-time or just part-time in general? And if you care to, specify which. Any of those, you should be fucking damn proud. I'll tell you what. You should be very, very proud of that. Stand up. Big E full-time. Edge full-time. Row every day. AB full-time. Mario part-time. DK part-time. News full-time. Sam, full-time. Tina, full-time. Easy, full-time. John, part-time. Mark, full-time. Jesus, you guys. You guys. Do you see what's happening here in the chat on the Wrench Capital live stream? Fucking everybody makes a bunch of money. This is ridiculous. Fucking proud of that shit. I'll tell you what, man. I'm proud of that shit. You guys should be proud of that shit. That's crazy. Show me another chat on YouTube that isn't dead quiet when I ask that question. Fucking ridiculous, dude. That's insane. News, yeah, you're damn right. It's a revolution, my man. That's crazy. That is something else. Jerome full-time, Bart full-time, AJ full-time, Javaz full-time, Roger full-time, Fishman full-time. I'm out of breath. I'm out of breath. Ed says, I'll be 63 this year, so I'm waiting to retire and I'll make it full-time. Mike says part-time because retirement is my other part-time job. You guys, do you understand how crazy this is? Some of you guys haven't been around that long. I've been in this industry for 10 years. That is insane. The ratio. You guys saw how quick the chat moved when I asked that question with people saying they're full-timers. Look at the amount of people here and the amount of people that just said they're full-time. That ratio is disgusting. That doesn't exist in this industry. That is insane. Roger, 6,500 on my personal account today. Big dog. Let's go. All right, we got 3.5 minutes out. Bar 25. Let's see. You see these bulls bouncing us back? See, this is what I'm concerned about. I think we might see a sideways range. I hope we don't. But I just know, environmental context-wise, we just haven't been seeing friction-free trends as of late. Now, that doesn't mean we're not going to get one. That's not to be a downer. I'm just saying, you know, understanding the context, not only intraday, but also of what's been going on in the market, there's going to be some friction to break out into a full-blown, big-ass bear trend. Which is why I wanted to wait on 25 and see what's up, and here we are getting a bounce on 25, so correct decision to do so. All right, guys, hey, don't go anywhere. Give me 2 minutes. I will be right back. Someone make that phone call while I'm gone. 2 minutes! Don't go anywhere. All right, what's up? We're back, and see, we've got effectively that big range that I was talking about, right? So I'm curious to see if this ends up being basically a sideways range or a big soft bear channel. Having a very good day here so far, I'll tell you what. Chat, at the top, short the top of 27, risking 23. 30-point scalp. I think that's reasonable. I think it's reasonable. Now, it's volatile, so, you know, the probability might not be as good as like a really great continuation trade, but I'm sure you understand that. So, yeah, it's reasonable to do what you did. You know, you guys, there's nothing wrong with taking lower edge trades in trading ranges. However, I have seen a lot of traders. I've seen a lot of traders' mistakes. I've been told about a lot of traders' mistakes and how they conquered them, etc. I have a very large sample size of understanding, and of course, myself over basically a 10-year period. And I know all the shit that everyone does, that everyone thinks that they're the only ones who do it. So when you're in a range, a word of caution, the expected value, the edge, right, that you think that you will be able to pull out of there, or that you will be able to pull out of there consistently, is likely going to be less. Still, it can still be there, but less than what you can get in a trend. Does that mean you shouldn't take trades in a range ever? No, it just means that a lot of people like to size up in ranges because they say, well, I'm on continuation trades today, I might have risked 60, 70 points. So in a range, if I'm only gonna risk 25 points, then I should double, maybe triple my size. And I would argue that, think of it like a poker player. If you sort of understand the game of poker, I certainly, don't, but I understand the math behind it. These professionals, they're not betting the house, they're not betting the farm, so to speak, when they don't think they have a positive expected value or an edge in doing so, because then it's just a straight up gamble. And these guys who win consistently and make a living playing poker on, TV or whatever, they're not just getting lucky for 10, 20, 30 years. However long a poker career is, I have no idea. There's an edge baked into what they're doing. And they know that. And they know the math behind it, which is why you see them bet very little sometimes and very large other times. Whether they're bluffing or not, it doesn't really matter. It has to do with the edge they know. Well, I was going to say they think, but really they know that they have. So they bet larger when the edge is more in their favor. That applies to trading in a phrase called exponential bet sizing. Now, this is high-level stuff, so, I don't imagine that, this is going to be all that exciting, but I will tell you that almost all traders, effectively, at a high level, would know what you say, what you mean when you say exponential bet sizing, because it's really important. And effectively, if you're trading prop, I don't know if you have to get super deep into it because you're trading prop, not a personal account, which changes things a little because the drawdown on a prop account is set. But the way that you can implement that is by saying, okay, I know that I have more edge on my big continuation trades than my range trades. I know I should still take the range trades because they do produce a profit, just at a slower rate over time, because the edge is smaller. So why would I try to create the exact same dollar amount risk in the range scalps as I do on the continuation trades? I shouldn't. I should trade maybe the same size, but I am risking less points, so I let the market adjust my dollar risk because I'm risking less points that I would on a continuation trade with the same position size. Am I losing everybody? I try to keep these things, you know, as simple as I can, but these are things that need to be discussed. And I'll tell you what, like almost no one talks about this shit, which is crazy to me. It's like they don't give a fuck whether or not you win. Well, I'll tell you what, I do. I give a very much a fuck whether or not you win. So we gotta have these conversations sometimes, even if it's not so fun. All right, good. It's making sense. Good. We got a minute 17 out here until 28 closes. Okay, 45 seconds here. We'll get 28 closing up. Mike says, I get what you're saying. I've always done the opposite. Most traders do, man. Bartlett says, where you at on the day? I am up 23,900 in the fundeds. And not done necessarily. Thanks, man. Doing what we can here. Doing what we can here. Hope you guys are making some money too. We got bills to pay, man. We are the provider. And we got shit to do. So let's get this market, you know, out of this little sideways range that we're certainly in now. A little single bar sideways range, 26, 27, 28, now 29. What do you guys think? Does this market reverse from here? What are we thinking? Bartlett says up 3,700 bucks on the day, all done. Just thought I'd come in and say hi. How we doing? Good to see you. Yeah, so Brandon, that's a good point here. I think it's early to call this a reversal, of course, because let me zoom out first of all. There you go. I'm looking at this a lot more like this. Okay, big sideways range. The 50% retracement point would be what? Probably somewhere around here. Now, that 50% retracement point is where a lot of average-in bulls who averaged in all through here end up getting around their break-even point, and that a lot of times they'll cut it at break-even because they're thanking their lucky stars. And that can add a little bit of hesitation in the form of selling pressure from taking profit. Chat, thanks for the good information. Can you please talk a little bit about how to pass evals? Would you try it on one go or take it slow to pass it? Any advice? I would not try to pass evals in one go, but I also don't take it slow. Look, the answer to how to pass evals is going to change based on A, your financial situation, and B, where you're at in your trading career. So let me give you both scenarios. Me now, my number one concern with evals and test accounts is opportunity cost. It's time. Just straight up. It's not the cost of the eval. It's not the activation fee. It's time. Okay, so when you're positive ROI in your prop trading, meaning you are profitable in your prop trading business, you can't afford to spend weeks focused only on evals or test accounts. You just can't afford to do that because you're giving up way too much opportunity of spending those weeks in the fundeds. So, but trying to pass it in one go, I think is also ridiculous. And we don't really know for sure, but I do think it could put you in maybe bad graces with prop firms moving forward. I just think that it's probably, I don't know, I don't have any inside info on this, but I would assume it's probably not what they want people doing, just gambling on CPI to pass evals. I don't know, maybe. But I don't do that just because I imagine that I wouldn't be surprised if, we get an email from these prop firms tomorrow that says, hey, if you do that, you'll be banned. So I don't do that. But what I do is I go aggressive and I trade quite a bit bigger. In my funded accounts, let's say, for example, funded 50Ks, since those are the most popular, I'll trade anywhere between 2 and 5 micros, depending on volatility per account in the funded. But in the eval, I don't have time to trade 2 to 5 micros. I will trade anywhere from 1 to 3, maybe minis, depending on volatility to start. And then as I get 2/3, 3/4 of the way to the finish line in the eval, I size down into the finish line. So I back off to 1 mini or 7 micros or 5 micros or 3 micros as I get closer and closer, and I scalp the entire eval. I scalp because, especially when we're in ranges, I know that even if it's a little sloppier, I don't care. I can scalp and get through it faster. Okay, a lot of it ends up being negative reward to risk scalping, not to an insane degree, but like you guys have seen me do many times here. Yeah. My goal is to get through them in a way that leaves my self-respect intact, but also doesn't eat up a whole bunch of time. With Apex evals, I'm typically, an afternoon at most. Because you can pass in one day over at Apex. But again, if you're not a positive ROI prop trader, which is okay because no one's born positive ROI in prop trading, you have to get there. And I don't think that you should necessarily go that route if you're not there yet, because you're just going to lose more money in the form of buying a whole bunch of evaluations that you can't pass. Or even if you do maybe pass it, if you're not positive ROI, then you're not paying that off with payouts. So in that case, it would make a lot of sense to buy one eval and trade 1 micro until you do have reasonable expectation that, hey, I am a positive expected value trader. I do have edge. I don't break rules. I don't really have discipline or emotional control issues anymore. Then you size up and scale it. Okay, here we go. Watching bar 30. All right, 30 seconds out. Watching how 30 closes up here. I'm looking for a nice clean bull close. As close to that wick high as I can get. Okay, 10 seconds, stop limit buy goes out. Copy trader engaged. Paste him, roll over. Look at that, look at that. The most beautiful fill you have ever seen in your life. There we go. Instantaneous. Crazy. All right, I'm sitting long. I am sitting long. Now we are, by the way, coming into that 50% retracement point. We're kind of getting into the lower region of the 50% retracement point. I'm cool with it for now. My risk on this trade is not all that tremendous. Let's see what these bulls got. There you go, bulls. Beautiful. Keep that pushing, baby. Minimum target for me here, I'm looking about 40, 42-ish points. Oh, man, you bulls, crazy. Crazy bulls. Can't stop these bulls. So, you know, again, minimum profit here for me, I'm looking, yeah, I'll call it 42 points. Bulls had me, I don't know, maybe 6, 7 points away at best. Not yet. Not there yet. There you go. Keep that pushing. There's the rollover, by the way, 31 into 32. Now, if 32 takes out the wick high of 31, I technically do need to move my stop. But that will be a multitask that I would probably separate out into 2 tasks. Watch the break, see if I need to take profit. And then if it doesn't hit, I would move my stop. No break yet. Only 10 more seconds to get that done here out of the bulls. Now, bear's going to take me back toward 31, also at 20 EMA. Okay, stop has to stay as is because 32 was unable to break the wick high of 31 within the first 30 seconds of that rollover. So far, these bulls have had me, about 37 points in the money, about 5 points away from my take profit. But no cigar! Damn close! Alright, let's see if these bulls can take one more run there. By the way, we got 220 out here until bar 32 closes. And we'll roll over into 33. There you go, but we'll step on back in. Let's take one more run there at that little high of this move. ATR sitting 59, by the way. There you go, bulls. Keep that pushing. All right, bulls, one hard push. That's going to be an inside close there on 32, so there's nothing I can do as far as bar by bar management there. But here we go. Here we go. Come on, bulls. There. One push. There it is. Get through. I think I might have gotten a couple of... You can see I'm not all that excited because I get far more... I think I got about 2 ticks less than I should have. That was a whoops, slip of the hotkey. A tremendous trade. But, you know, I think a lot of you guys, you get... And I get it, like, we're here to make money, that's the point, right? I mean, okay, tremendous trade, I'm happy about it, great. But I am way more excited about doing what I need to do, executing very, very well, and the money just comes as a result. So I've been reinforced to care more about my execution. That one, I think I got about 41.5 points. My target was more like 42, and you might say, who gives a shit, dude? Well, I mean, I do, because being extremely disciplined is what, you know, originally allowed me and has continued to allow me to do this, you know, full time. So anyway, good trade. Good trade. It was a tremendous entry made up for the little hiccup on the take profit. But Jesus, having a big day, man. Up just under 30K in the fundeds. Well, my man, I hope you guys have had a better day than I've had. I hope you're all up 300,000 in the fundeds. We love it. Is it reasonable to set a take profit order? Why close with the hotkeys? So I will if I want to offload taking profit to the computer in like a stop hunting situation where it's much faster than I am. The reason I prefer to drive manually and take profit with hotkeys is because I like to stay open, exposed to the potential volatility of unexpected 50-50 news releases. Right, and if I'm gonna be here, I can drive manually and take profit. Chat, just passed my first Lucid 50K funded and 150 bucks away from another. My man, tremendous work. Tremendous work. All right, guys, big day, big day. I will see you guys market open tomorrow. All right, I hope you guys had 10 times the day I had, man. All right, up just under 30K in the fundeds. I will see you guys back here tomorrow for Pharaoh Friday. Big dogs. Have a good one.